All right. Well, this is one of the combat zone on foot things. I'm just doing this to, I guess, document the state I've gotten to with the with grinding the weapons and suits here. I think it's going pretty well. The grind is, it's pretty severe, like they say, but I suspect the reason that it's done that way is because, well, another complaint that gets made is about the constant relogging that goes on, where you're farming materials and you have to relog it. Well, you don't have to, but a lot of times it's possible to farm material by doing a lot of relogging and so on. And I guess they took that into account and they just made the grind more severe, knowing that was going to happen. I don't know. Okay, well, these are the upgrades I've got. This is the Dominator suit. It's at level 5. It's got added melee. It's got those upgrades you just saw. Added melee damage, combat move speed, damage resistance, master shield regen. I need to get rid of the added melee damage and replace that with increased ammunition, I think, probably more likely. But that means I have to upgrade a whole new suit, of course. The guns aren't completely upgraded yet. The rocket launcher is. The machine gun still has a couple open slots on it, so does the TKs. I don't think I'm going to bother with stowed reloading in it, but stowed reloading definitely helps on the rocket launcher and the machine gun. The AR-15. So yeah, I guess it is disappointing that this game isn't as popular as it once was, but that's the way it goes. I don't really hold that against the game itself. I think it's just the nature of fashion, people flocking to new things. I don't think any of the other games out there are necessarily any better than this or any worse than this. A lot of people just seek novelty, they've been playing this game for years and now they're tired of it and they want to try something new, I think. There's no accounting for that, but it's for me, I've been playing this for a few years and I put $70 on it and I'm not going to go out and spend a ton of money and a whole lot of time learning a whole new game just to arrive back at the same situation, because there's always going to be another game. I'm getting use out of this game. I enjoy playing it, and that's what matters. You have to keep some perspective about this. You have a lot of people get out here and they make videos complaining, "Oh my God, it's a tragedy." What the developers are doing to their user base. It's practically a crime. I feel like you have no perspective. You have to realize that what you're doing here at the end of the day is, this is a toy. You're playing with a toy, alright? If you don't know how to have fun with a toy, well fine, go find another toy. Maybe you can have fun with that, that's fine, do whatever you gotta do, but the drama gets a little heavy sometimes. I don't see the urgency about all of this. When this game stops being fun, I'll stop playing it, I don't really care. It's a toy. I worry a whole lot more about having to run down to the grocery store than I do about whether this game is popular or not. Because when I go to the grocery store, I could get shot, Some crazy person could jump out of the woodwork and just shoot my head off because God told me to do it, or who knows what. Nothing bad is going to happen while I'm playing this game. Except I might go blind. Yeah. And yeah, I do. I've been doing the footwork type of stuff on this game. I enjoy it. It's not bad. You know, it was pretty rough when Odyssey first came out. They have improved it somewhat. It could be improved some more, but it's really not bad. I'm not an expert on FPS games at all. I mean, I've played one or two, but I don't see anything about this gameplay that's basically much different from any of a million others. I mean, it doesn't stand out, but it's not terrible either. It's like any of these other games. You kind of have to get used to the way it works as well. Having upgraded the suit and the weapons helps a lot. Particularly the stowed reloading and the faster handling. Those are completely necessary. I would put those on pretty much any gun. Yeah, I thought these were my buddies through the door, but they were not. This is why you have
enemy support has arrived. Reinforcements inbound.
I mean, if there were anything I wish they could change on this game, it's that I wish they could get better AI, but that's something I could say about pretty much every game out there.
Support needed at Delta. Leaving pressurized environment. Alpha point secured.
I'm not really sure how this would stack up against human players. It's really unlikely to happen. Even when the game was massively popular, the fact that you're playing on a game board that consists of hundreds and thousands and millions of stars, it just means that even if you're trying to find other players, you really have to make a conscious effort to find other players. There's just too much space for people to move around, and I do not see them out at all. I pretty much treat this as a multiplayer game. I mean, if I run into somebody, I run into them, but I'm not looking for them. I mean, I'd be just as happy if they... Well, I'd probably be even happier if they could introduce some kind of revolutionary AI and make these bots just 10 times smarter. That would be awesome to me. That would be real innovation in gameplay.
Keep it up. The enemy's on the back foot.
That's a hobby horse I have. Is that
Charlie has come online.
a criticism I have of video games in general nowadays is that basically all these video games out here, they try to make out like they're being innovative, but they're really not. They're all that's happened in the last 2 or 3 decades with these video games is that they've improved the graphics engines. But that to me is superficial, because all these games, the games they make now are being made essentially the same way they were 20 or 30 years ago. You've got a graphics engine, and then on top of the graphics engine, you run some handmade, buggy, interpreted script. You know? And buggy is the operative word, because it's always buggy.
Enemy reinforcements are coming in hot.
And no matter what game you're playing, it's the same thing. The rules of the game, the action of the game is actually dictated by that handmade buggy interpreted script. They put a lot of effort into improving the graphics engine that runs underneath of it.
Reinforcements inbound.
But the actual gameplay is that stuff they put together, and and that process hasn't changed. That's been the same thing for decades. That's a criticism I have. I mean,
enemy forces inbound.
that's where I really want to see innovation. Is in the process of where they're putting together that code that runs on top of the graphic engine that defines the game rules and the way the game plays. I mean, I would love to see some way to apply all this fancy new AI to that.
Reinforcements are ready to deploy.
I mean, even if you can't possibly run state-of-the-art AI to control all these bots, because the hardware requirements would be ridiculous. Even if that's the case, even if you couldn't do that, you still ought to be able to apply modern machine learning to this process of generating the code that defines these games. That's what I think. Of course, I'm just talking about that.
Reinforcements are ready to deploy.
Where do they get right? I won't go down.
Yeah, the stilled reloading really helps a lot with this rocket launcher for sure. With the rocket launcher, if you have to reload it manually, it takes a good long time. Whereas now all I have to do is just holster the damn thing, switch to one of the other guns for a few seconds, pull it back out, and it's reloaded.
Reinforcements have arrived.
I get pretty clumsy out here when I'm switching between weapons. Anything that reduces the defense.
Grenade incoming! Foxtrot is ours. Drop up missile for us. Delta is now online. Charlie has come online. Enemy
As far as grinding for this
reinforcements are touching down.
yeah, the grind is considerable. There's a whole lot of material. I definitely recommend you get hold of that software that lets you manage those materials. If I can remember what it's called. Down to Earth Astronomy did a video about a year ago about it, but you should definitely look up that software. I actually threw together my own piece of software to do it. Because I was messing around with the hard drive and I noticed, oh, there's this JSON file here that's got a list of all the Odyssey materials I've got in my backpack. You know? Well. I could throw together a cheesy program to tabulate all the upgrades I have materials for and display all the ones that I don't have materials for. And that's what I did. I ended up digging up my copy of Visual Dialogue Script 32, which is
Enemy engaged at Charlie. Charlie was secured.
Which is I guess you could call it a programming language. It's a semi-programming language that was published.
The enemy is falling back. Keep the pressure up.
Oh God, it must have been 30 years ago. It feels like it was like 30 years ago that this guy in England published Visual Dialogue Script 32. It's a very simple programming language. Its main virtue is that it provides you a very simple way to create Windows dialogue with buttons and sliders and combo boxes and radio buttons and all that good shit. And I've had a copy of that. I've had a copy of that on the hard drive for like the last 30 years. About once every 5 or 10 years, I find a use for it. Like a few years ago, I made a front end loader for all my MAME ROMs, my MAME ROMs.
Enemy forces inbound.
I've got a collection of several hundred of those, so I put together a front end so I could scroll through them and play them, you know.
Watch my back. Entering the environment.
My totally legal MAME ROMs, of course. Absolutely. That's what these are all legal MAME ROMs. These are not the illegal ones. These are the legal ones. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend you just go get the software that's already been made for this. If I'd thought of it, I would have looked it up before I started this video, so I could tell you the name of it. I could probably look it up. Elite
Delta is
Dangerous.
now online. Leaving pressurized environment. Reinforcements inbound. Enemy forces inbound.
Materials Manager. Is this the one? The Odyssey material?
Welcome Echo for us.
Yeah, the Odyssey
Enemy
material
reinforcements are
helper.
coming in hot.
That's the one. Odyssey Material Helper. You should definitely get hold of a copy of that. I've never used it. Like I said, I spent a week or two knocking together this cheesy piece of software that it doesn't do anywhere near the amount of stuff that the Elite Dangerous Odyssey Helper Material Helper is going to do for you. But it does what I need to do. But yeah, you definitely need something like that. It helps a lot. You know, because even though you can do things like farm materials with relogging and all that, even with that, it's still a chore. And I don't even recommend doing the relogging, you know, except when it's necessary. I admit it sometimes is actually necessary to resort to relogging, just because a lot of the time it's not uncommon for the on-foot missions to be bugged. There is some procedural generation going on, I think, because you know there are times when these come out bugged, and it just becomes literally impossible to complete the mission because it's got a bug in it. And the only way to get around that is to relog. And relog typically resets the mission to the start. And if you're lucky, when you relog it like that, you'll have to start the mission over. But when you start it over, it'll work correctly. You hope anyway. I mean, that's usually how it works out. But yeah, personally, that's the only time. Personally, that's the only time I really want to relog. I mean, I still do it once in a while just to see how it works.
Area secure. All targets down.
But on the whole, I like to play the game on its own terms. You know, I'm meant to jump out here and use the guns, and that's kind of what I tend to want to do. You know, I don't want to get around all that stuff just to get to all the upgrades early. You know, I'll play through the game. I don't mind. Okay, that's all I got. Have a good evening.
Shield deactivated.